Welcome everybody to Movie.Pitch, this film debate show. Basically, I'm going to play film studio executive, and I have all the money to grant the power to fund someone's film. I'm Mike from Movie.Cast, and I'm joined by my usual co-hosts, Costa and Amber.
Hello.
And then also joined by Tom.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah, he joined us for Jurassic World and staying around to pitch a movie. So as I was saying, basically, it's a debate show. These guys are all going to pitch a film concept to me, and this week we're going with the concept of taking a film and rebooting it with a gender-swapped cast. So, you know how they're doing like with Ghostbusters, they're going with an all-female cast, basically doing a whole role reversal. So that's the idea for this week. And so how this format normally goes, each participant gets 90 seconds to make their initial pitch. And then after that initial pitch, we then will go, each person gets 2.5 minutes for rebuttals. So they can further explain why their pitch is better than everybody else's. And then at the end of those rebuttals, I can ask questions as I see fit, maybe to sway my decision, or anybody can argue. And then we have final arguments, where everybody just gives about a few lines. Yeah, and then I'll make a decision. So you all are all fighting for my money. All right? You got it? Got it? All right. So, Tom, you are our guest this week, so I'm going to let you kick us off. Let me get my timer started. So you're going to get 90 seconds to the dot. I'm going to cut you off. So have your pitch timed out. All right? Hold on 1 sec. Okay, ready? Start your pitch for gender swap movie starting now.
Well, I was going to think we should just go ahead and restart the film Drive that starred Ryan Reynolds and what's his name? The guy who directed it, Nicholas Refn. I'm thinking director Lexi Alexander. She did the movies Punisher, Warzone, and Green Street Hooligan. She's done a couple action movies that way. She has like a background with it. As the Ryan Reynolds character, the driver is Zoe Bell, who's the stunt driver from The Work.
Oh, the Tarantino movie.
Yeah, Tarantino movie. So she'd be the stunt driver. Her mechanic, father-like figure is one who's actually in her life, Lucy Lawless, Xena, because they were like best friends back when they were working on Xena together. Falls for Ian DeCastecker, which really
don't know who that
Ian
is.
DeCastecker plays Fitz on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Like kind of the quiet, timid person, kind of like the what's her name in the actual Drive movie, just that like not like the very opposite to like the big burly person it would be. And since they had an evil comic actor playing the bad guy, Whoopi Goldberg. Where's she been the last 20 years? Bring her back as a bad guy.
Get her out of the view.
Get
her out of the view. Bring her back as a bad guy. Same basic premise though. She is a car for hire, going out and just going on jobs, and then one day she bumps into her new like roommate, this Ian DeCastecker, and his little son.
And that was 90 seconds. I'm sorry. I told you I would cut you off.
Yeah.
But we got it. We got it. It's Drive.
Yeah.
So
It's Drive with people different.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I got you. So Costa, let's go to you this time. All right. Be confident. Come on, dude. Sell it. Remember, you're trying to sell me your pitch. All right. You want all my some money that I have to give you, 50,000 maybe. All right. Ready? Go.
All right, so I was originally going to pitch an Oceans movie, but during the lead up to this, Tom and I found out that we were both doing Oceans. So I'm instead doing a gender swap for Back to the Future. And in place of Marty McFly, I have Ellen Page playing Molly McFly, and for Doc Brown, I have Kristen Wiig as Dr. Emily Brown. And Biff was tough. I'm like, who's going to gender swap for Biff? And I went with Rebel Wilson to play Britt Tannen. And I want to keep Robert Zemeckis as the director. Maybe bring in Joss Whedon along like on the team to for the new female cast, because he obviously writes the lead female characters incredibly well. I would keep the premise roughly the same, except now it's 2015. They go back to 1985, which was the year of the original movie, and then of course, they can jump ahead 30 years in the future for the next movie would be 2045. But needless to say, the premise would be about the same. Like I wouldn't really change much up of the original story other than just swapping out the genders of the characters. I think Ellen Page would play the awkward young person very well. Kristen Wiig, the eccentric scientist, and Rebel Wilson, she's got some attitude, and she can be a bit of I'm sure she can play the bully very well.
Ellen Page will never get out of playing young characters, will she? Ever?
No.
She is doomed for that life.
She'll be playing like an early 20-something, even into her 50s. Like that's just what it's going to be for her.
Poor Ellen Page. All right, cool. Well, that was good. So, Amber, let's hear your pitch starting right now.
Okay. Well, I'm doing a little bit of mind bender one. I'm doing a gender swap of Tootsie.
Oh.
So, my director would be Jason Reitman, and we kind of are on the same path because I'm picking Kristen Wiig as what would be the Dustin Hoffman character. And I decided to go with, I needed somebody that had a good face that looked like they could be on a soap opera because the whole thing is about soap opera. So I decided to pick like Hugh Jackman as the male who would have been Jessica Lange's character. And so the whole thing with Tootsie the whole premise was an actor who wasn't getting work, who was trying to get on a soap opera, but it was for a female actress lead, so he dresses in drag and gets the part. And so my whole thing is switch, and it kind of comes in today with everybody talking about female leads and actresses, where it's an actress who's trying to get a role, but it's for a male lead, so she dresses in drag as a male, gets the part, and becomes famous as a famous male lead on a soap opera, and falls in love with her co-star, who also happens to be a male, which would be Hugh Jackman. And and I feel like Kristen Wiig would be good because it's got a little bit of drama, comedy. If you've seen her in Skeleton Twins with what was it, John Hader or whatever, or Bill Hader, she was more like she had the comedic parts, but there's a lot of dark stuff to it. So I feel like she could do both, and she's up and coming. So that is what my movie would be.
All right, cool. You all did good at pitching it in the time limit. So, all right, interesting. Very interesting choices. Let's go immediately into the rebuttals. So let's go back to you, Tom. All right. Now this time you've got 2.5 minutes to. You can either explain why yours is better, like you can attack theirs, or just promote yours more. So, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, just basically explain why yours is better. Why your pitch is better. All right?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Well, mine's better just because I wouldn't say it's, I just said a better premise to it. I think there's a bigger audience for just a girl kicking ass driving a car around more than there would be like, another one of the, because I think mine wouldn't be totally pitched as a remake. It wouldn't be called Drive 2. It would be like that is like pretty much Back to the Future again. That's Tootsie reverse, which I mean might work. But this is just like an action movie that follows a similar premise. Like she's a car for hire, and she's going out on the run, doing runs, and falls in love. And then things get hairy, and she has to take this guy on the run, and they go off and just try to like survive against evil Whoopi Goldberg, which could be switched out.
I was about to say, can Whoopi Goldberg really pull off evil?
Maybe.
Like
I don't know if I've ever seen her in
an evil role.
Unless she played Satan in Monkey Bone. That's a pull. That's a pull.
But
for
she
you.
was likable still.
Maybe I don't remember the movie that well.
It was a really bad movie.
Yeah, she played Satan.
Sorry.
But I just think there's an audience for that kind of film right now. I think like you put a girl, Zoe Bell, 40s Australian in a car doing bank heist. There's I think an audience for that. It would go like overall demographics.
What else has Zoe Bell been in?
As far as like acting in,
Yeah.
I don't think much.
Really? So you're going with mostly an unknown person.
She was in Death Proof.
She's a stunt.
She's a stunt woman. She's done
woman.
stunts on stuff. I think she's done one of the movies since Death Proof. I think. I just can't be sure, but I know she was the lead in Death Proof. And
She was in Django, but her face was covered.
Was she?
Yeah,
Oh,
she was one of the people that was in the woods.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. Yeah. I just think it has that flair, has that draw to it, more than I would say like just a flip. It feels like a remake of Arthur to me. Just modernize it, flip it. No, it's present day.
Arthur though was still a male, like.
I know, but it's just bumping it. It just seems so like something that would easily be done today, which just seems so boring. Like, oh, Kristen Wiig's redoing Tootsie.
Well, I don't know how it would be. I don't know how. Well, that Arthur movie was bad because of who was starring in it.
But it was an unnecessary remake. Tootsie is like a classic. Hoffman, I'm pretty sure, at least got nominated for an award if he didn't win an award for that. Like, it'd be hard to remake a classic.
Lang
like
did.
Okay, that was a pretty good rebuttal. You defended your pitch very well. So
I think Lang got it.
all right, Costa, your turn. You're up.
Okay.
Let's start your rebuttal. Why is yours better than everybody else's? Go.
I mean, first, I want to point to, like with any good movie, you want to make sure you have a strong cast. I think the cast I've thrown out there is very good. Like, I don't know any other actresses other than Ellen Page that I could think of that could play the role of Marty McFly. Like, I hate pitching this only because like Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies.
Well, you have my rebuttal. He hates pitching this.
But again, like since I had to change, I had to think of something, and I love Back to the Future, so it'd be hard for me to. But I think if I had to think, like, who would be really good to fill the shoes of Marty McFly, and again, we're talking about a gender swap as well, then I think Ellen Page fits that perfectly. But also going back to what you're saying, like mine would just be a rehash of Back to the Future, except just with female, actors in place. I think the one thing that's important is, like, mine wouldn't be exactly the same, but whenever you do a gender swap of any kind of movie, you want something that can, like, at least recapture some of the magic of what made that movie good. Because it's like they're going to do the all-female cast of Ghostbusters. Yes, they want it to stand on its own, but at the same time, they want you to watch and feel like, yes, I just watched a Ghostbusters movie, And so I think with Back to the Future, it'd be the same thing. And also, just to point out, when we actually talked this a couple days ago, June 11th was kind of like Back to the Future Day, because that was the day back in time. And so since this is the same year, that I think it'd be kind of cool to kind of release a Back to the Future movie the year in which they actually went forward in time.
And especially because then it's an update for for some of the references in Back to the Future that are now really old and just like you said.
Right. Now imagine going back in time and kind of poking fun of the 1980s, of 1985, and just talk about like how culture was back then. Because that, like, again, when Back to the Future came out, that was the norm, that was society. But now we can kind of like this retrospective, and then we can play off that whole. Now, what's it going to be like in the year 2045? You can kind of like build on that again. It's a different story.
Now it feels like Hot Tub Time Machine.
No, I mean, not necessarily, because Hot Tub Time Machine is just like a drunk
going
comedy.
Back to the wacky 80s.
But this isn't that though. Like this.
Well, and Hot Tub Time Machine
jumped
around.
I think with Zemeckis, obviously he has the vision for it. He would, of course, still bring that same feel to it, and Whedon would just bring it all together. Is my point.
If you had to choose one or the other, would you want Zemeckis?
I want Zemeckis to direct it, since it was his original vision. But I would want Whedon to write the script.
That'd be an interesting collaboration. Okay, so Amber, you're last up.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and defend yours now.
1, Costa says he hates pitching it, so. 2.
Awesome.
2, I think people would be like, it's sacrilegious to even attempt to do anything with Back to the Future, but
again,
they say.
I don't
I know. I would say that mine would be interesting to also it's kind of an older movie. I don't know if everybody's seen it. I know it is considered a classic. I also think it's more interesting that it's a gender swap of something that was a gender swap movie.
Gender swap of a gender
swap.
It's
a gender swap of a gender swap. I think it also kind of plays into the fact of what's going on right now in Hollywood with the female actresses and saying that they're not getting, the roles that they're wanting to. And I think it means more now with this, with it being a female actress who can't get anything because they're looking for male leads, and that she has to go and become a male or pretend to be a male just to show off her talent and then deceive everybody. So I think it's much more interesting. I think it kind of relates now to the time of what they're kind of dealing with and whatever as actresses get older and stuff. I think Kristen Wiig is still up and coming, and she can show off not only comedic side, but I think there is drama in there, and she actually is pretty good dramatic actress from what I've seen. And I don't know, I just think it. As for the Drive one, I can't really say. I don't. I guess it's so. Like, it's only been made a couple of years ago that I just feel like, all right, but I've already seen it, and you're just switching it with a female cast, but it's just like, all right. That is a quiet film too, as well. So
It is.
that's the only thing
I agree.
where it's. But yeah, so I mean, that's my pitch. Is I think it would be interesting to see, and it's a twist on a twist of already a movie.
Twist on a twist.
Yeah.
On a twist.
So yeah.
Twistception.
Twistception. You still have 30 more seconds if you want to.
Again, Costa.
That's her one argument. All right, you know what?
And I put Jason Reitman in there because I think he can do comedy and he can do drama, and I think Sidney Lumet did the original one. I think he's kind of a mixture of that kind of where he can do both. He can bring in both sometimes. So.
All right. Well, that's interesting. See, it's interesting because all of you have elements of your pitches that are slight detractions for me, but also, yeah, that's all very interesting. I haven't really discounted anybody yet. So, all female Inception cast. Well, except switch Ellen Page's character out.
Yeah.
That's about
she
it.
She stays.
Oh, and Marion Cotillard. All right, so let's just do real quickly, just about 30 seconds or so each, just final arguments. All right. Good?
Okay.
All right, Tom?
Yeah.
Just one last, yeah.
Be a sleeper hit. It's what the cast want. It's what the people want, I think.
You do?
I think so, yeah. How I think there's a space that could be filled with just a very outside the box, just a woman over 30 as an action star with just a kick-ass kind of car chase. Just none of the movies done it before.
All right, nice and simple. Go ahead, Costa. Final thought.
I just think that it'll just be nice to I'm playing off the year that it is, and just I don't even think that this movie in itself would diminish the greatness, in my opinion, of Back to the Future, but I think it would work. I think a lot of people would enjoy it. But I think if there's any one movie that, even though in the back of my mind I say I wouldn't want to see it, but I would at the same time, equally I'd want to see it, is see them try and redo Back to the Future to fit today's time.
Okay, and Amber, one last statement for you.
I think that Tootsie back in the day was a critical success, and obviously we're saying got Oscars. I think it would be even more critically success because of what it's talking about today is more relevant than it was even back then. Okay. Switching, I think, would be more successful, and I think the critics and award season.
All right.
Do you want to win awards?
I do want to win awards.
Boom. Because you know what? The last one won an awards.
All right. So, like I said, they're all great pitches, and they all have reasons that I'm detracting against them. But like for example, I wasn't the biggest fan of Drive. I thought it was a very quiet film, a very slow film.
I could tell when I said Drive, and you went.
I know, but I don't disagree. It would be interesting to see, a kick-ass woman in that role instead. Now, I don't know much about Zoe Bell, and you said she doesn't have much acting under her belt, so I think that would be another detractor as well, just because you're going with an unknown. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah. But then that makes it harder to sell.
Coming off of Mad Max, I could picture Charlize Theron in that role.
And that's what I'm saying. It's harder to sell if you don't, if you're putting a complete unknown.
Would she still be wearing the scorpion jacket?
Would half the people have gone to see Drive if Ryan Gosling wasn't the lead role? See, that's what I'm saying. If it was some unknown
you're asking
stunt,
me as a girl, yes.
If it was some unknown stunt driver, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Costa, with yours, I'm in agreement with you that I still think Back to the Future is still at that point where you don't touch it yet. It's still kind of sacred, but I can't disagree with your casting choices. I would like Ellen Page as as trapped in high school as she will ever be in movies.
I can also see her being like, "Are you telling me?
Yeah,
you're in a time machine?"
Exactly.
And also,
Out of a Prius?
Yeah, I'm Prius.
though I would want them to actually keep the DeLorean. Like I wouldn't want them to change that. Like that's too.
A Prius with Lambo doors? Just
It's like I spend too much
I
money
don't know.
on
Like
this car, I'm
I would
never
actually
giving it
like
up.
it if they kind of like played off of just like how crazy is that Kristen Wiig's version of Doc Brown would still have a DeLorean in the year 2015.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That'd be kind of a. And I know you kind of like winced a little bit at Rebel Wilson as
I'm not a big fan of Rebel
We'll
Wilson.
see,
Okay,
we'll-
I'm really
No,
not.
but you know the thing is that I've never seen any of the Pitch Perfect movies.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen in the trailers, like she has that attitude, and I just didn't want to pick like an actress who would just be like this natural like bitch, kind of like a Megan Fox
An
type,
Emma Stone.
or
Or no, not Emma
Emma
Stone.
Roberts.
Emma Roberts.
But I wanted someone that could bring some attitude and some humor into it, and I think that she would have been perfect for it from what I've seen.
I mean, and yeah, that's a
I
good
think she would
explanation.
make a good Biff.
yeah, in this case, Brit.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Brit Tannen.
Brit Tannen. and then just one more thing too, Amber. Like
Yes.
I'm not as familiar with Tootsie.
Yeah,
like,
I
haven't-
figured it depends
Yeah,
if you've seen it or not.
but you sold the concept well.
It's
you know,
pretty simple.
like right, exactly,
Yeah.
and you're right. It would be really relevant. This is, I hate being the mediator, but I also hate creating pitches. But I'm going to go with Costas.
Wow.
Yeah, again, like they were all pretty good pitches.
He really wants to see Ellen Page be like, you.
Yeah, I would kind of love to see Ellen Page
Does she
in a time
wear
traveling film.
a
Puffy life vest?
puffy life vest?
No,
That's
I'd have
Does
to.
Kristen Wiig have the crazy hair?
She would have something
Yeah,
with crazy
she
hair.
would have to
Yeah.
have
But,
crazy
but also
hair.
what kind of sold me is the
Plastic
idea
tie.
of updating everything for the modern day. Because if you show Back to the Future to kids who are growing up, within the 2010s now, people they're not really going to understand.
I
it
would be.
anymore.
I want to
say
know who
I'm
plays
old,
the
I'll
parents.
Well, I mean, there really isn't really anything being gender swapped there. 'Cause you
Yeah.
still have mom and dad, but.
But you could have it where instead of McFly's father, it's her mother. And that the father the father's the one that obviously would have to fall in love with her, and then the
Right.
mother's the one that she has to.
Dad's
Oh,
like
but
the
you know what's
jock
funny?
in high
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
You know what's really
Dirty
funny is
Swift.
that because the whole idea that they did with Back to the Future was that they had young actors play the parents.
Yeah.
Or
and
so
they
imagine
aged
like
them.
Michael Cera playing the father.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that's if you
Oh,
were doing
right,
you weren't
yeah.
doing the gender swap.
Well, but I'm saying, but if you did the where it's the father that has to. Oh, right, but then you
Right.
probably need like the attractive
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
actor.
so it's like
Yeah.
2015, and like Michael Cera's some kind of like hip vegan dad. You go back to 85, and he's in high school, and he's dressed like Robert Smith from The Cure.
So then maybe it's someone like, I don't know, if you're talking about a young, maybe like.
Who's up and coming? I would I was gonna say Evan Peters or somebody like that who
Yeah.
played Quicksilver. Like he's kind of like
Evan Peters, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, I could see
The
that a
other
little bit more.
Quicksilver.
The other Quicksilver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Aaron Taylor
not
Johnson.
Aaron
I feel
Taylor
like-
Johnson.
No,
I don't know who the mom would be, but like I feel like she would be.
but the mom would have to be someone more awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I'd have to.
Yeah.
I'd have to think on that. But I didn't really go that far into.
no,
Because
that's
the one thing is like the constants in all the movies had always been Doc Brown, Marty, and Biff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I focused on those three. But
Yeah. No.
Can't wait till Back to the Future 3 when it's Brit on the horse.
Rebel Wilson riding
You're
like
yellow?
a, like
God.
like a pony.
Oh jeez.
A little pony.
Pony.
like the really like weird getup.
And just to say, even though you mentioned it before we started, depending on what the pitches were, if either of you had actually gone with an Ocean's 11, that probably would have been my choice.
Well,
I
they
do
both
love
picked
Ocean's
it.
Let's
11.
go
had it.
through. Let's go through.
Yeah,
the
let's
cast.
go through your cast.
Well,
Yeah.
ours are going to be fairly similar, though. I think in the end.
My Ocean's 11 pitch was written by Jed Wheaton and Marissa Tancharoen, brother, the sister-in-law and brother of Joss Whedon. Kevin Tancharoen, the guy did Mortal Kombat. There's like new
Oh, wow.
remakes. That's also her brother.
Okay.
Jennifer Lawrence, Elizabeth Olsen, Margot Robbie, Kerry Washington do the Don Cheadle character.
Yeah.
Kate McKinnon being like the wacky, like the card shuffler guy.
Retta Bernie Mac's
No,
character?
that's Retta playing Bernie Mac's character.
Oh,
the guy who
okay.
designs the card shuffler.
Right. Yeah.
The quiet Asian guy is now Ming-Na Wen.
Who would play Andy Garcia's character?
Meryl Streep.
Oh, that would be perfect.
He would see.
I
told you guys.
Should've
When
stuck with
But then who's Tess?
Tess?
Yeah.
What did you
Bradley
say was
Cooper.
Bradley
Who?
Cooper?
Bradley Cooper and Meryl Streep? Remember, because those characters are the Andy Garcia characters.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe she likes younger men. What's wrong with that? Yeah. And he likes older women. Whatever.
Yeah.
So you're saying he dumped Jennifer Lawrence for Meryl Streep?
Okay, well, fine.
We can hear.
Carve on into my plot hole.
No, I would say that I don't believe Jennifer Lawrence could have.
I'm sorry, but if you're saying no to Jennifer Lawrence and instead say yes to Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep is no longer now Scarlett Johansson.
I feel like you should have
She was the hot
Scarlett
one 10
Johansson.
years ago.
I feel like
Okay.
Scarlett Johansson should be whatever.
On the team?
Yeah. Because I
Maybe.
feel like
I would give you Scarlett Johansson more.
I don't believe that Jennifer
I
Lawrence
gotta
could
give a
break
lot of
in.
credit to Tom here because he got a lot further into his like ideas for the cast. Like I had
You had
like,
Margot Robbie.
I was
That's a
thinking.
good quote.
I don't think you had her on yours until I
Yeah,
threw
I
it
did.
out
I
there
threw it in
because
again.
I was thinking she was in Focus,
Right,
Which
yeah.
which
It was
has
just
like
like
that
a
Ocean's
heist
feel.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she the Brad Pitt?
I was gonna say Jennifer Lawrence was the Brad Pitt.
Wait, then who was
Then
the
who's
George
George
Clooney?
Clooney?
Elizabeth Olsen? Just like
I
older,
feel like
she's
she,
pretty.
yeah, but I
actually
feel
would've
like
thought
I
of
don't
those
believe
things
that
through,
she would be seasoned.
So then it would be
my cast was all mixed up.
okay. Because I was about to say because then it'd be
I feel like
Elizabeth
you need
Olsen
older
and
women.
Well, see,
Bradley
but my whole point, which was hard about it, is because you got to think of like the ages.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
I feel like
and
a
stuff
lot of
that,
that, like,
which is why I was
So then
thinking
you have,
like
like,
Angelina Jolie, you
Yeah.
know, versus Brad
yeah.
Pitt was.
but still, it would
but-
make sense that
Yeah.
she's seasoned.
But
All
what
the
if,
other
you
girls
have,
are too
what if
young.
you have a scene of like Jennifer Lawrence and Elizabeth Olsen walking into some poker room, and you got like all these Disney cast members playing poker, trying to learn how to play
Well,
poker?
I feel like Elizabeth Olsen and all them should be
I
the
love
Matt
that.
Damon character. One of them should be the Matt Damon character because when you watch that movie, he's like the young guy coming in. So I feel like there should only be
That'd be
one
Elizabeth
young
Olsen
woman,
or
and the
something.
rest of them should be older women. Because I know you want to get the hot things, but it's just like
I mean, you could
George
also-
Clooney was coming out of jail. Like
I
he
could also
had a
throw
like
in maybe,
yeah.
I mean, it might be a stretch, but maybe Elizabeth Banks as an older.
Yes,
older
yeah,
actress.
she would have been
Elizabeth
better.
Banks,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, again, Tom and I guess just decided to
I
go.
feel like I would watch this movie more than I'd ever watch. I've only seen the Ocean's movies once because I was like, these movies are horrible. Like
Ocean's
I hate,
11 and 13 are
I
enjoyable.
thought they were all
Skip
boring.
12.
Yeah.
Skip 12.
well, I
Yeah.
tried watching and I was like, I can't watch these.
Ocean's 11 is the best one, and then
Who would
Ocean's
you-
13
for the end
and
of
then
12?
Who'd you have to
Oh,
play
yeah.
Pacino's character, the bad guy in 13?
13.
Whoopi
Now, see,
Goldberg.
that could be Meryl Streep. That could be
That
Meryl
could be
Streep.
Meryl
That would be
Streep.
better because there's no like tie, there's no romantic ties to the cast.
Or-
the assistant that Matt
Helen
Damon
Mirren.
produces.
Oh
Helen
God.
Mirren could be-
Who would
Helen
be-
Mirren,
Helen
there you
Helen
go.
Mirren
That's
would be
another
a
good
good
one
one
too.
Okay, I think we.
All right, wow, we just made our own movie pitch for like
We're going to do a
Ocean's.
whole separate movie pitch now.
But yeah, but it's fun though. It's always
Yeah,
fun. trying to picture these things.
this is the. I like how I always describe this as the fun show, as if we have no fun on our podcast. Like, our podcast is boring. Like,
I'm glad.
jeez.
So this is win number 2, and in fact, when I had an extra person to go up against, I'm rather.
You
happy.
guys, I told you, you guys should have come together as one
take on
team.
you.
I would have
Yeah,
been like,
we'll put a little
I'll go
counter.
with the assist.
We'll
yeah.
put a little counter up on the screen, but currently Costa does sit as the leader with 2 now. Amber and I both have 1, and Tom, you start off with 0. Yeah, I mean, we'll put it like an asterisk beside yours since you started. This is only your first, and we've already done this our 4th. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was our movie pitch for today. Thank you for joining. Hope you had some fun with us. As always, check out our Facebook and Twitter. On the screen, we have the links for it. And like our
Favorite,
videos, please subscribe to keep up to date with our content. If you want to see any of Tom's stuff, as I promoted him in the podcast earlier, find him on @TomKVideo on Twitter, and on YouTube you can search up his videos at TomKVideo, right? Cool, I did it, I got it. All right, so anyway, thank you for joining Movie Pitch. I hope you had fun. Have a great day, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.